So I'm walking and coming out now at the ocean. And as I'm walking, the Lord's reminding me of the fact that the last time I selfishly sought Him was my last separation. And at that time, I had a dream that I thought was a movie, but I never found the movie. And it left a desire in my heart to write a book. And I wanted to write a book. And the reason why I even thought of that is because the Lord is speaking to me now about writing a book. And it's like a book of the bond servant, or the sealed, the one who is sealed. It's a life story, I suppose. But it's about the things to come. The things yet to be revealed to anyone other than the writer of the book. It's about a lamb amongst wolves. It's not about someone who's innocent. But the more I think about it as I'm walking, it's about someone who is called righteous because of my willingness and love for my daughter initially. My willingness to lay down my life, die to myself. And the Lord reminded me of Jonathan and how he had everything. He had the world at his fingertips, and he laid down his life. Everything changed when he had his children. Nothing satisfied, and he wanted to know the truth. So there's some similarities. Yes, we die for selfish reasons. We die for our children. And the thing is that is what God has placed in our heart, because that is what the Lord does. That is what God has, who God is. He has laid down his life for his children. And I think that if you look hard at all the testimonies of those that are sealed, especially in this end time that we are living in, that we do it for our children. Because to start with, we don't know God, so it's hard to love him. Does that make sense? Yes, we love him, we do it for him. We do it to be with him after. But initially we do it for our children. And Jonathan has been promised his children, and the Lord is reminding me of the 13, including myself, that I have. And I'm asking him whether Jonathan's promise is the same as mine, and that I have 13. So that includes 2 partners, my children's partners, one husband. What's that? That's 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6. So I've got to find another 6 more. And because I keep forgetting them because it's so long ago that the Lord said to me, it was just over a year ago. Well, it's almost exactly a year ago that the Lord said to me that I needed to get my red book out and write, and he was going to give me a detailed blueprint. I would have most of the details before they happened. And I've been writing ever since. I probably have about 35 books, but so the Lord now, look at this little bird here. There's kiwis up here. And I'm allowed to be here because I saw the worker he was trapping, and he said that, he saw me with the dog. He actually encouraged me to go back, get my lunch. I'm going to walk back along the beach. So you can walk on the track. This is above the water, and then when the tide's right, you can walk back along the beach. This is called Okanui. This is where the fallen angel invited me, the one who tried to take Glory's eye with a nail. Who blessed me in many ways by giving me a little bit of history of the Māori people that I've called to, which is great, and also gave me somewhere to stay for a couple of months. So that's why I've come back here, and it's a full moon, and I have been troubled, been under a bit of attack, been wondering where to from here. I feel like something's coming to an end, and as I'm walking, I'm realising that the new beginning is probably this book, and that's why I'm talking about the book that I started to write 15 years ago. So Lord has spoken to me about our love for our children, and how often that is why we end up seeking God to a point where He hears our heart and responds, and we meet wonderful meetings, supernatural meetings, like what happened to Jonathan and my testimony. And it's all because we are willing to lay down our lives for our children. Like God, it's God, what God has placed in us. It's probably the greatest thing He has placed in us, is their whole family. So I realise now that He's talking to me about a book, that the book that I was wanting to write, that came from a dream that I could hardly remember, but I know it was long, was about what I thought was a movie, but it wasn't. But all I can say it was about, and this is what just struck me, is it was a Bruce Willis movie. It was Bruce Willis, and it was set in the galaxy, like on a spaceship in the galaxy. So it's Bruce Willis in the galaxy. He is a father, and he has a son. So it's about the son, the father, and the galaxy. And that's all I know of the plot from the book I was going to write 15 years ago. And that's probably about the most important part. So maybe my story is that. And I think there's quite a lot of Bruce Willis movies that he plays a father in. So I'm not going to go look at Bruce Willis movies because I'm pretty sure that's not the plot. But look, here's a wee fantail. So beautiful. Well, I suppose that's it. I'm just documenting. This is the birth of my book, and I've been it's just ridiculous, really, because I give people a hard time about books. You know, we don't have time for books. The glory's going to come and all that. But as you know, I'm thinking about breeding this one. She's on heat now. So in 6 months, she's on heat again. So easily, you know, in less than a year, 8 months or something, I will have puppies, and I'm going to keep one puppy and call it Fire. And the glory comes before the fire. I know that Jonathan talks about the fire, the wrath, the destruction, all that. But I've seen the glory, so I'm just afraid that some of what I've got in my book is for those that are, I don't like the left behind, but those that are in garments of white, that are not sealed at this stage. The angels are going out and sealing the elect. I've been sealed. But then there is these ones that come after, because the sealed, the 310, they're taken before the trial, the testing. 310, Revelation 310. I've had that promise. So, but then there's the ones that come after. So the ones that have cleansed themselves and are in garments of white, that the Lord commends, highly commended, but they are not. Their hearts are stubborn now, or they are too young to be of the age to make a decision. Maybe it makes no difference as long as but they die. They're martyred. So these ones, I just have a sense that some of what the Lord's shown me is a place for these ones to go. It's like a glory pocket here when the shit hits the fan. So I will document it for those reasons. And then it would also be a testimony, because I'm going to live through most of it, I hope. And I don't care if it's printed, I'm just going to keep it on my computer. So the only difference is when I get home, I'm going to pull my computer out and I'm going to start typing. So I can put it on a flash drive, and I suppose it'll glean what I've got in the books. Not everything. I've got my YouTube video and I've got my Facebook, documents a lot of things. So between YouTube and my Facebook sites, the books, hard copy books, and then what I type and put on a flash drive, I've got a pretty good record. It's a testimony of a bond servant, which I've become, which I was not always. Who stands in Christ's righteousness, which I have become, which I was not always. And hears the voice of her Father and records it. And these are the works that I am called to, which involve other people. So it might be handy for them to see it and read it one day, because it might confirm what the Lord's going to say to them, or maybe saying to them already. But I haven't really had any witnesses to my call. I've had the Father, Son, Holy Ghost as my witnesses. Because I am, like many that are being sealed now, more a trailblazer. And as such, there's no one on the trail to say, yeah. There's no markers on my trail. Can you not see that? Was there any markers on Jesus' trail? Was there someone else who'd gone before and said, look, I want you to do this and this and this and this? No. Was there anyone else that had gone before and said, I want you to, like this trail here. There's little triangles and there's poles. This is go this way, go that way. Look at her licking herself the whole way. Glory, stop it. Come on, you'll be over that heat soon. But like, some of us have just... Look, it's not going to be any different for anyone. You're totally reliant on hearing God. You can't rely on anyone else. One of the first things he said to me was, trust only me. Trust only God. He said, trust only God. And then I went up the mountains. He said, and I realised now, I look back in my book a month before, he said to go up on the hills. And I went up there, but I wrote that I was feeling apprehensive and scared. Because then I knew in my spirit that he was going to get me to go. He's going to get me to leave everything. And that was like 4 weeks before I actually did it. And it's a miracle I could do that. You guys, I'm going to write in this book, then you'll understand what I left. I left anything you have. You think of everything you have in your life, your entire life, getting up and leaving it. My life was not perfect, but it was still something that was worth holding on to. Oh, and I just see, that's symbolic. I love my life, I don't know what's going to happen next. It is wonderful. This is the best time I've ever had. And I don't want to get raptured because I want to see all the wonderful things that God's shown me happen. What do you think, Glory? We're going to see it? I'm just rambling. I'll play some more video later.